Hi, I'm Sara and I'm the owner of Love Artisan. So I started making furniture in 2015. Prior to that I had been in the tourism industry for a long time. And what inspired it actually was just moving into an apartment that had no furniture, and I couldn't afford sort of the higher end furniture palace odds and ends furniture, and I didn't really want to run the gauntlet of Gong Road and trying to explain what it was that I wanted and then, like crossing fingers that I got what I wanted. So I thought, well, how hard can it be to make furniture? And I had no idea. And it was a lot more difficult than I didn't know. So I started looking at YouTube videos, and the watchman at the compound that I was staying in and myself, his name is Evans, we went to Gitcombo, we bought tomato crates, we bought shipping pallets, and we just started making furniture for my house. And we were repurposing some other old bits and pieces. And anyway, friends started asking whether we could make furniture for them and so forth. So it really got born out of the necessity of me finding furniture for my own home. And ultimately, fast forward 5 years later, we're now in a full-time furniture making business. Interestingly, the watchman, Evans, he has been with me since that day. And I still have a bed made out of tomato crates to this day, which I desperately need to upgrade. But yeah, that was really the first iteration of the furniture making journey for me. So Love Artisan as a brand is coming up to 3 years old. We launched in July of 2017, 1 month before the general election. And if you cast your mind back to that, it really was quite an economically unstable and sluggish time post-election. And then, of course, we had the second election as well. So now if we have a bad week or we have a bad month, or even in the context of what's happening now with COVID-19, I look back to those first few months that we had launched and really think that, okay, we have the resilience and we have the tenacity to get through any darker periods. So one of the inspirations for starting Love Artisan as a brand was that we work in the informal sector workforce here on Gong Road, which is home to more than 2,000 fundis, most of whom are working job to job, don't have a lot of income security. So when I was beginning this brand, I really looked at that and saw that we have a huge manufacturing potential here in Nairobi that hasn't really been harnessed to its potential. And then I looked at what else was available in the market in terms of furniture, and there was a gap. There was a gap between what was available either at the sort of street furniture level and then what was available in some of the department stores. And what I bet on, and it proved to be true, but what I bet on was that people do want to support locally made furniture, providing that they get good design, that they get good value for money, they get a quality product, and they have a professional interaction in order to do so. So if you can tick all of those boxes for a customer, then people really do want to support locally made furniture and brands, not just furniture. So really it was this desire to sort of see our capacity, at least do some part towards building our capacity in this industry and harnessing the potential that we have, and showing both Nairobi but beyond Nairobi what's possible to be made locally here, and that we can compete with any other furniture made anywhere else in the range. We focus mainly on accent furniture, so chairs and sofas, particularly that piece that maybe sits in the corner of your living room that gives you a pop of colour, or perhaps in your bedroom, or makes a statement. So at this stage we focus not on dining tables and coffee tables and so forth, but more on upholstered furniture, of which mostly has an African identity. I mean, that's one of the hallmarks of our company. So beyond wanting to harness the potential of our workforce here in Nairobi, the other tenet of Love Artisan is to really showcase the beautiful textiles from around the continent. So many of the textiles, if not all, have cultural significance. So we really wanted to show that through our furniture. So, for instance, we have kitenge or ankara, which is a ubiquitous African identity in terms of fabric. We have mud cloth from Mali, we have vintage ashoke from Nigeria, we have kuba cloth from the Congo. So a lot of our furniture, what we aim to do with it is to promote and highlight those cultural fabrics and as part of the identity of the continent, but now in a way that perhaps hasn't been seen before and that can fit in a modern home. And we always aim to do that with respect and with giving information about the history of the fabric and the relevance of the fabric as well. In terms of the challenges that we've faced, and in particular reference to the Kenyan market, I think we're no different to any other small business that has challenges with regards to access to capital and to cash flow. I think any business, as you're growing, you do reach that point where you've become noticed by some of the larger companies and perhaps NGOs, and they have their protocol that needs to be followed in terms of perhaps paying via LPO or perhaps not paying any deposit and paying on delivery. Whereas the reality for a small business is that it's very difficult for us to have that cash reserve to be able to fully complete a product without a deposit, or to accept an LPO in lieu of a deposit. So that's been one of the challenges, and it remains one of the challenges. So I guess there's that sort of disconnect a little bit between the protocol of some of the larger organizations who do want to support local, but now there's a bit of a disconnect between their protocol and the reality of most small businesses manufacturing locally. And then of course the other challenge actually that we face is shipping costs. So if we're trying to grow our brand to be beyond the Kenyan borders, and particularly globally, which I believe, like I would love to see Love Artisan anywhere in the world, and I aim to make sure that we're good enough, that we make furniture good enough that can be in any home anywhere in the world. And it's a source of pride for me to be able to show people this is what's possible in Kenya, and this is what's possible even in our informal sector. So one of the challenges to that has been access to shipping at a reasonable cost. So that's something that we're still working on to this day, and we're hoping through the course of this year to find the solution for that. But so that's definitely been a barrier to our growth, is finding a shipping partner that can work with us at a reasonable price. So in case you know anybody or anyone listening to this is a shipping company, please reach out to us. We'd love to partner with you. So one further point, in particular reference to the Kenyan market and the challenges we face, there does tend to be a bit of a copy and paste mentality among the Juakali sector, certainly, and we're not immune to that. So we have had instances where people have attempted to copy our products. And it's a difficult one because on the one hand people say imitation is the best form of flattery, but I'm not really sure I believe that, because we worked really hard and a lot of livelihoods, we're 14 people now, a lot of livelihoods depend on our ability to sell our products without plagiarism in the market. But you also wonder how much oxygen to give such things. So you're in this tension between making sure no one else copies your products, and then also making sure that you focus on what you can do, you focus on your customer base. There's always going to be customers that want to buy the original, there's always going to be a market for that. And of course, it's more than just the product, it's the story, it's the people working behind the product, it's the innovation, creativity, so that can't be copied. So I really try not to focus too much on imposters or copies and so forth, although I have to say it does. In terms of marketing strategy, this wasn't a PR stunt or a marketing strategy, but in 2018 when Obama visited his sister's center, Sautiku's center in Kogelo, we made a chair for him which had his face on it, and we went on a mission to deliver him that chair to Kogelo personally. And of course we had no invitation to be at the event, but we just sort of took our audacity of hope, as Obama would say, and we traveled through the night all the way to Kogelo, and we took our social media family and supporters with us. And what was quite incredible was the groundswell of support that we had from our customers and our supporters, just saying, can Obama get this chair? What's happening? Can we get this chair to him? So there was such love, and we felt it every step of the way. And we did eventually get into the event and hand the chair over. Okay, the Secret Service wouldn't let us hand it to him directly, but we did donate it to Salty Coup Foundation. And so it wasn't intended as a PR stunt, but it certainly connected us to our audience. And I think, like, honestly, for me, the best marketing strategy is to just be authentic in what you're doing. You don't need to, in my view, have the perfect Instagram pictures. It's important to tell the story of who are the human beings that are working in this organization. You know, what are the challenges we face on Gong Road? Why do we use this particular fabric? Are we scared during this time of Corona? Yeah, we don't have all the answers. So I think you can be vulnerable, and I think that people appreciate that, because we're all human ultimately. So we don't have to sort of have this really glossy strategy. At least that's what I believe works for the Love Artisan brand. That's, I think our identity sort of shines through in its authenticity to our audience. Okay, the first thing I would tell myself in terms of my career and my life is to have less fear and to just go ahead and do the thing. Just take the first step forward. Nobody enters a business or enters anything new knowing all the answers. So just take that first step on the ladder, and the ladder will appear. The second thing I would tell myself is get an accountant, and get the accountant early on. Like, be serious about your finances. Even though a lot of small businesses and creatives, all of a sudden you think, oh, I'm running a business, and it was just a side hustle, or it was just a project. Next thing, it's actually like a proper legit business. So you need to get your finances in check, and I wish I had told myself that earlier on, because now everything is okay, but it takes more pain the longer that you avoid being serious about your finances. So if you're not someone who's financially driven or competent perhaps, then get an accountant or get a bookkeeper to help you with it from day one or day two or day three. It's like, the sooner you do it, the better it is for your business. Fear when beginning Love Artisan. So my background was in tourism, and I'm not a furniture designer, I'm not an industrial designer. So I think that fear is that, am I an imposter? Do I have something to offer? Am I a one-hit wonder? Yes, people liked our first cocktail chair, the Luma chair, but what if that was the only one that they liked? Can I repeat this? And I think many creatives that you speak to suffer with that, or have that little voice in their heads, even as a business matures. So I do think that that's probably the fear that many of us have, this kind of imposter syndrome. I think that's probably, beyond that, I'm not sure that I have a lot of fear. I mean, I do think there's a place for us and our company in the landscape, the furniture landscape of Nairobi. So, and we get validated by our customers to keep doing what we do. So, yeah, it's that silly imposter syndrome that doesn't serve any purpose really, I guess, but it stays with you. Okay, the brand that inspires me would be Peperuka. I think it is the quintessentially Kenyan brand. It's cheeky, it's always on point, it always reads the room, and it's just so relevant to Kenyan everyday life. So I love Peperuka. I love the founder of Peperuka, and we share the same hero in Wangari Maathai. So to me, that's very much an inspiring brand. It's unapologetically Kenyan, and yeah, it inspires me.